Welcome back, everybody. I'm fortunate enough to have Robert Phang back with me again for our third session. And Robert Phang is a master of Qigong and an amazing teacher. And we're lucky enough to have him again today to talk a little bit more about Qigong practice. And Robert, welcome back. I'm going to ask you if you can tell us a little bit about how you conduct the work that you do today, maybe how it connects to your teacher and teachers and what they wanted from this and how this trajectory is moving into the future, and a little bit more about what Qigong practice is like.
Okay. Well, I remember when I was even in high school, my master always urged me to say you should have a good grade. Meaning you have to study hard, you have to study well, and you have to go to university. Yeah, I think he has a vision at that time, because when he's talking with us, he said, "Well, He didn't say the vision. He said, "Well, He said, "I have all my other disciples are mountaineers or the farmers. Yeah, and you are the only city boy among all the disciples. And I feel you have something big to do, and you should have higher education to be able to do that." Yeah. Well, at that time I was very blind. I said, "Well, I would like to do it, of course. And what should I do? I love English as soon as I learn it." Yeah. So I said, "Well, let me try to major English as my college." So I studied very hard and then attended the entrance exam. Then I was enrolled as the English majors for 4 years. So I get my Bachelor of English and American Literature. Yeah. Well, at that time, I was just thinking, well, I need to have higher education. Well, they give a good job, of course. Yeah. After my graduation, I stayed in university teaching English for another 6 years. But without knowing too much, is that actually nowadays, look, I'm using English big time. I'm living in the English world, teaching Qigong. Yeah. So each time when I record this, I get goosebumps. I say, my master, he really sees this. Yeah. So before, I was very shy, intimidated to say, well, I have a mission to spread Qigong cultures. Yeah. But now the more I am teaching now in Western world, the more I feel that mission is mine. Yeah. Mission of spreading Qigong culture. Yeah. Because it is such a beautiful practice. Yeah. And someone asked me, I said, what is you, uh, 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 mm, uh, like, how do you see the future of Qigong? Well, I said, well, it should be able to reach to everybody, yeah, in the world. It's so simple to practice. It's so meaningful. It's so profound. It should be at least like yoga. Yeah, everybody, even if they don't practice, they know about yoga. Yeah, they heard about yoga. And my dream, yeah, is that everybody know about Qigong. The best is that they can practice Qigong. So with this mission in my mind, yeah, I begin to teach at that time in China. Yeah, like you mentioned in introduction, within 5 years, I taught 150,000 students. At that time, it is all personal. Yeah, you go to the place, you teach. Of course, in China, it's different. It's easy to get big number, right? Yeah, you get a few thousand people, like just prepare for 2 months. It's not a big case, yeah, because we can go to workers' union, and a lot of factories they have like 20,000, 50,000 workers, and no advertisement. It's just workers' union say, tomorrow at the stadium we do qigong. Then we have 20,000 people. We have 2,000 people. We have 5,000 people. So, of course, it's very different the way to teach in Western world. I met Bob Hawke, the Prime Minister. Yeah, sadly, he just passed away last year. But he was the first one who met me when I was teaching in China. Then he said, "Well, you should go to Australia." Yeah, he introduced his daughter to learn and get a treatment from me because she had chronic fatigue syndrome for 7 years. Yeah, in wintertime, it is very hard for her to go through. She has to stay in bed like for 1 or 2 months, couldn't get up. But staying with us for about 1 month, getting treatment and practicing Qigong, she looked 10 years younger. And then, of course, they went back to Australia, and then the newspaper, the Women's Weekly, and they began to report the story. Then they began to say, well, you should go to Australia. At that time, I have no plan, but I speak English. I said, why not try? So I began to visit Australia, and the difference is total, right? The people's understanding of qi, of course, is totally different from that in China. So it took me a few years to learn how to teach in Western world, because the way to express the qi is very different. Because in China, qi, although not everybody practicing qigong, but the qi is a concept that is in our blood. Like we say, electricity, we call it electrical qi, right? Gas, we call it oil qi. Yeah. When you are high, we say, oh, your qi is up. So the qi concept is in our blood. So we don't need to re-educate them what qi is. You just say qi, then everybody knows. But in Western world, especially at that time, you have to use some special ways to really illustrate the qi. So all these years, then I learned. So in my teaching, you have experience. I don't use too much term. Yeah, I try to limit the term of the qi, which is a heavy burden for a non-Chinese speaker, but more the ways of bringing my students or the audience into the flow of the qi. So it is experiential. It is the things that you experience, then you are convinced. They say that is really beautiful stuff. Yeah. So so you don't need me to convince you, you convince yourself. That's how my understanding of the difference of making the qi, at least qigong teaching, different. Yeah. So I spend a lot of time using the PowerPoint animations, yeah, to make it simple and easy. Yeah. And then I find even a lot of students, or even a lot of qigong teachers, they practice qigong for 20 years, 30 years. They come to me, they say, Robert, it's so interesting. I practice qigong so many years, but it seems that to attend this 2 hours of class with you, it's all these years of practice summarized. Yeah. I say, I'm very happy to hear this, actually, yeah, because that affirms, that give me the affirmation that my mission is on its way, and it's on its right way. And now I begin to, for all these years, I'm teaching all around the world. Yeah, I went to Denmark, I went to Holland and Switzerland. Of course, in America, I go West Coast, East Coast. Yeah, West Coast, we have 1440 Modern University, and the East Coast, I teach a lot with Kripalu and especially Omega. Yeah, because Omega, I have a lot of projects with them. And of course, now the COVID-19, we transferred a lot on online teaching. Well, I started online teaching webinars 2 years ago. So it's, for me, it's not a big shock to shift. It's a big pleasure for me. And then, although they have to cancel all this on-site teaching, I'm going to make it online. So teaching online It's another beautiful experience. That's
Well,
what I noticed. Once you put yourself in that energy flow, the distance is not a matter. Yeah. So when I'm leading the online course, I I still feel the connections of all my audiences, and uh, through the chanting, through all this involvement. Actually, I find a good benefit more than on site is because you're just in front of the camera. And they say, for example, I want to show which exactly the posture of my hand is. Actually, online is more advantageous because you can see the zooming shot of how my hand looks. If it is on side, you have 100 people, people at the back cannot see clearly, right? So uh, uh, I uh, uh, I feel very blessed, like with those technologies. I feel blessed with the endorsement of my master's Chi, and I feel blessed with all this upcoming interest of this energy uh, practices. So now more and more people, yeah, are aware that there's existence of the qi or qigong. Yeah, actually, there's a funny thing is that when I practice, I have my office, yeah, in New York City. I see clients, I teach students. Of course, some clients came to me beforehand, they have never heard about Qigong. It's referred by the friends. But after treatment, then they went out, then they say, oh, next time when they come, they say, oh, it's so interesting. All of a sudden, I saw so many signs of Qigong and Qigong massage, whatever. And they say, that's so interesting. I didn't notice that it's already there. Yeah. It's just I don't have my eyes open to that. Yeah. But through the work on them, then their awareness open, then they find actually a lot of people are beginning to do that. Yeah. So my mission is to bring the essential, the original qigong elements to teach, and also is to awaken uh, everybody's awareness of the qi existence and also the qigong teaching. Yeah, I hope that is a a good dream that it can make it keep on going for the rest of my life.
well,
Thank you,
Robert,
Bob.
you're doing an amazing job of spreading this message of qigong to a wider and wider audience. And you used the analogy earlier of yoga, and I think that was a really good one, because yoga went over the course of the years from something that practically nobody knew what it was to now yoga is so commonplace that there probably isn't a town in the United States that doesn't have a yoga school in it. So it's become so much a part of our everyday life. And now qigong, through your work, is really gaining a lot more prominence. A lot more people are aware of what qigong is and how it benefits us. Before we close our final session, though, I was hoping that you could take the listeners through some experience. What can we do with qigong without actually seeing you? What could you share with us?
Uh, well, I think we can do, let me see, what is a good thing that we can do for a few minutes? Um, we can do nourishing qi. Okay, it's like a meditation. All right.
Great.
The nourishing qi, actually, I have a big story about that, because uh, when I was with my master to start with martial arts, this is very dynamic and moving all the time, moving qi this way, the other way. Then uh, I was so enthusiastic. Then one day he said, well, you should nourish your qi. You should let your qi to work for you. I said, well, how does to do that? It's the static way of doing the qi, yeah, is to nourish the qi, allow the qi to work. The simple image is to imagine your whole body is like a sponge soaking in a hot tub. When you put a sponge in a hot tub, the sponge absorb all this warm water happily. They soak in it, right? So that's the image that we should use when we have like a few minutes of break. And okay, sorry. When we have that is a beautiful exercise that when you have a few minutes to break or before you go to bed, don't just go into sleep right away. Put that image with it. Yeah, it will be beautiful. Let's do about 2 or 3 minutes with this. You just follow my guidance. All right. So, so anyone, who is listening now, you can sit down or lie down even. Lie down and close your eyes. Imagine you're like a sponge soaking in a hot tub. Open every tiny pore of yourself, emerging in this ocean of the qi, floating in this ocean of the qi. No effort, just feel that floating flow, energy merging into you, and tell yourself, I am in qi. Qi is in me. A blessing in Chinese, 人在气中，气在人中。I am in qi. Qi is in me. You can also imagine you are like a little boat floating peacefully in this beautiful ocean and slowly vanishes into the mist of the ocean. 人在气中，气在人中。Now bring awareness to your lower torso. Imagine over there's a tiny smiling face. And this tiny smiling face is like bubbles in the water and slowly rising towards your heart. Cross your heart, keep rising towards your neck, your head, and on your face, pop open a broad smile. And the smile is like sunshine, shining on every tiny pore of yourself. Every single cell is like morning dew, reflecting the sunshine of your smile. Just soak in this ocean of smile. Feel every part of your body is blessed with your joyful qi. Now, with a beautiful smile, take a deep inhale and contentedly sigh out. As if you just had a beautiful drink. All right. Again, inhale. And with a beautiful smile, slowly open your eyes and look around to find everything around you is smiling at you, smiling back at you, nodding at you with a beautiful affirmation of who you are and what you are. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Robert. I
Thank you,
can
Bob.
feel the chi.
I'm going to, sorry, go ahead.
Some of our listeners will undoubtedly want to get in touch with you. So what contact information can you share with us?
You can go to my website, robertphang.com. That is the one that can get all my information. because I always update it with information like that. And Robert Peng Qigong at gmail.com. That is my email address. Or, go to the website, should be okay. Well, just for information, for news, if you have time with this, I'm going to have a 10-day workshop online at the end of this month, May 28, for 10 days, every day, 2.5 days. That is to replace the 5 days of on-site teaching in Omega, because we have to cancel that. So anyone who is interested, you can go to my website and click the link. I'm working on it. So in a few days, we're going to begin to tell the people since we're talking now. Yeah.
So robertpeng.com, and let me spell Peng for our listeners. So Robert, Robert, Peng is P like Paul, ENG.com, robertpeng.com. Robert, thank you so much for spending time with us today. I think our listeners really learned a lot over the course of these 3 sessions. So thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. Have a good day.
This has been Cultures of Health and Healing with Robert Vetter. Thanks for listening. Please remember to subscribe and rate this show and share it with others. Until next time, remember, your health and healing matter, and you can find your own unique path to optimum wellness.